If you disappeared for 30 days, would your business survive? Not theoretically, not in a my team would try their best kind of way. I mean practically. Revenue still collected, clients still onboarded, deadlines still met, cash flow still positive. Most founders never seriously ask that question. They look at top-line revenue instead. We did $40,000 this month. We crossed $500,000 this year. But revenue is not independence. Revenue is activity. Independence is structure. There's a hidden trap here. You can build something that generates income and still have created a job with overhead. You're the highest paid employee. Remove you and the system collapses. That's not a business. That's a dependency engine. By the end of this, you'll understand the structural shift required to make a company operate without your daily involvement, not because you want to disappear, but because optionality is power. When the business doesn't require you, you finally have leverage, and leverage is what converts labor into freedom. Founder dependency is rarely obvious in the beginning. It hides behind control. It disguises itself as high standards. It shows up as urgency. You approve every proposal. You answer every client email. You solve every operational bottleneck. You're in every decision loop. On paper, that looks responsible. In reality, it's fragility. A founder-dependent business means critical processes rely on your memory, your judgment, or your presence. If 70% of daily decisions require you to weigh in, you are the operating system, and no system scales when the operating system is one human brain. There's a fundamental difference between income-producing activity and asset-building activity. Income-producing activity is delivering the service, closing the sale, solving the problem. If you're a consultant billing $200 per hour and you work 30 billable hours per week, that's $6,000 weekly. Efficient, profitable, but it stops when you stop. Asset-building activity is designing a system where that same service can be delivered without you personally inside it. It's documenting the process, standardizing pricing, creating training modules, building a repeatable client acquisition pipeline. That takes time up front and often reduces short-term income, but it increases long-term enterprise value. Think of your business as a machine, not a hustle. A hustle depends on your energy. A machine depends on inputs and processes. If you feed it $10,000 in marketing spend and it reliably produces $30,000 in revenue at a 40% gross margin, that's a system. If instead revenue fluctuates wildly based on how motivated you feel that month, that's not a machine, that's a mood. The shift begins when you redefine your role. At the base level, you're the operator. You're doing the work, writing the code, designing the graphics, taking the sales calls. Most founders start here. The next level is supervisor. You're no longer doing every task, but you're overseeing them, reviewing deliverables, checking quality, approving decisions. Above that is architect. This is where most never go. The architect designs processes. Instead of answering the same client question 50 times, you build a knowledge base. Instead of personally onboarding every new hire, you create a structured onboarding sequence. You ask, what rules can replace my judgment here? At the highest level is investor. You evaluate return on capital and return on time. You decide whether deploying $50,000 into paid acquisition yields a higher risk-adjusted return than hiring another operator. You optimize outcomes, not tasks. Growth requires moving upward through these levels. If you spend 90% of your week operating, you will remain capped by your personal capacity. Even if you're billing $300 per hour, you have 40 to 50 productive hours at best. That's a ceiling of perhaps $600,000 annually before burnout, taxes, and overhead. Respectable income, limited asset. The practical shift is simple but uncomfortable. Schedule design time. Block 5 hours per week where you are not allowed to execute, only design. Map workflows, identify bottlenecks, write standard operating procedures, review metrics. It feels unproductive at first because revenue doesn't spike that week. But over 12 months, those 5 hours per week compound into 260 hours of system design. That's over 6 full work weeks dedicated purely to architecture. Systems begin with repeatability. If a task happens more than twice, it deserves documentation, client onboarding, invoice processing, proposal generation, publishing content, hiring steps. Write the workflow step by step, not in vague terms like send welcome email. Specify subject lines, templates, timelines, conditions. Turn decisions into